Hello everyone, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. Alright, it's time for Apocalyptic Shadow, and this season wasn't too bad. It didn't take too many attempts for me to get the scores that I wanted, although I will have to admit I did screw up and misplay a lot on the second half. I don't use Fei Xiao very often, and it's been a while since I used Brawny as well, so that could be the reason why I misplayed, or I'm just bad at the game. Regardless, I scored high enough to a point where I didn't really want to redo the run, so that is that. Alrighty, let me quickly go over the teams that I used for both halves. I initially wanted to use Acheron on the first half because this boss spawns ads, these insects here, that will give him a debuff allowing Acheron to stack up her Crimson Knot stacks fairly quickly. But unfortunately for this season, they decided to put lightning resist on this boss, so Acheron would have done less damage to this boss. Although I think I probably could have still cleared it with a relatively decent score. I also wanted to try out my newly built Castress team, so that's what we went with. The Castress team obviously has Castress herself, the Trailblazer, Trippy, and Gallagher as our sustainer. In fact, Gallagher works really well here. The healing allows the charge for Castress to charge up relatively fast. As for the buff, I chose the last one. After any ally target consumes their own HP, increases their damage dealt by 55% for 3 turns. And I believe this also works for the Mimo sprites as well. So the dragon will get a huge damage buff on this half. Alright, on to the second half. Hule has a very interesting mechanic called going solo. You'll see once we get into the gameplay footage. Basically, he forces you to pick one of your teammates here, and then it forces them into a 1v1 with Hule. And Fei Xiao is the best option as she deals the most damage. You do get more HP. Your HP pool actually expands. It gets larger. So don't worry about Fei Xiao dying. She won't be, even though she is squishy, she won't get one-shotted as long as she's not at like 25% or less HP. Anyways, for this half, I used my Fei Xiao team featuring Fei Xiao, her partner March 7th, Robin, and I decided to run Branya as the last slot, going sustainless because the buff for this season, again, heals your teammates after the enemy is weakness broken. So, if possible, you can run a sustainless team. Maybe not so much on Castress because you want the charge to be charged faster with healing. But any other DPS team, you can run a sustainless team and it will work. As for the buff, I chose the last option, increases the allies' target's follow-up attacks by 30%, and an additional 30% when they are weakness broken. Alright, enough of my yapping, let's move on to the gameplay and commentary. Alright, for the first half we start off with Tribby's technique, Trailblazer's technique, and then we start the fight with Castress' technique. And we summon the dragon. Alright, so I've done this multiple ways, multiple times. Initially I just sent the dragon's attack, and then for this run I decided to save the dragon's attack and wait for the boss to spawn more of these ads. So all the ads have been filled up. I did a few runs where I actually fired the dragon's attack there once all the ads have spawned, but for this particular run I wanted to see if it was better to fire off the attack once Castress has the mem buff, as you can see here. Now the dragon, oh, to be noted by the way, whenever you buff Castress, the dragon will also get mem support buff. So once the dragon takes his turn here, you'll see that the dragon actually does true damage. And unfortunately, Mem is going to die here. Rip Mem. You will be remembered. And you can see the dragon is doing true damage here. Not sure if it's worth saving the dragon's breath for 3 turns. I honestly think it might have been better to just fire it off once all the ads have spawned onto the field. But regardless, that did still quite a bit of damage, about 1 million damage to all the ads and the boss. You can see Gallagher's healing is quite good for this half. We're going to resummon Mem because we kind of need Mem. Also, if Mem's on the field, we have a larger HP pool as well, so that allows us to charge up Castress's... I forgot what it's called. I'm just going to call it Castress's charge. Charges that up a lot faster. We're going to heal up the Trailblazer. It's going to hit Gallagher here. And thank God... Okay, we have our ultimate again. Thank God Gallagher has so much effect resist because that CC is like really bad. You need a lot of effect resist to resist it. And then there's the ultimate. Or not really the ultimate, I think that's his skill actually. 1 million damage, not too bad. Here I believe I just basic. It's gonna spawn another ad into the ultimate. Mem's gonna push up. buff up Castris once again. This will weakness break the bug and then activate the turbulence. With this, we'll be able to summon the dragon once again. Look at that damage. I think that's going to hit for over 2 million. Yep, 2.2 million. Not too bad at all. I'll pop Trivi's ultimate. We're just going to basic here. And then I think I pop the ult immediately because we're trying to get Castris' charge up as fast as possible. So normally you would want to save Gallagher's ultimate for a time when you actually need the heal, but in this particular case, even overheals count towards the charges you can see here. The faster Castris can get her charge up, the more damage you deal, as the dragon does the majority of the damage. Right, the dragon should be up here. Summon the dragon, and as you can see, the boss is at 6% and is about to push to the second phase. So I did not want to use up the full ultimate here, so we used 2 charges and then a basic, which is actually still a bit short, unfortunately. The boss lives with 1 HP. A little bit unfortunate, so we just basic with the Trailblazer here. And I think Mem is about to die again. Oh, nope, Mem is still alive. And then Gallagher heals it. Or her. Here's the ultimate from Trivi. I actually screw up here. I could have actually, saved the ultimate from Mem. I could have saved the ultimate from Mem here. And if I had not used the ultimate from Mem, we could have advanced Castris up twice, instead of just advancing her right up, even though she's next in the action bar. So I kind of screwed up here. I should have saved the Trailblazer's ultimate. But that's kind of like hindsight. I didn't see it at the moment. But rewatching the video, I noticed that this was kind of a minor misplay. Alright, here's Gallagher's ultimate. Gonna heal up our team. Also charge up the charge for Castris. I'm actually gonna weakness break one of these annoying bugs because there was one run where one of them actually managed to take their action and hard CC'd my Castris, and I kind of bricked the run essentially. Alright, here's the dragon. Should be dealing enough damage to kill off the majority of the ads here. Should hit for about a little, actually it will be quite a bit over 1 million. Almost 1.4 million here. And it kills off all the ads. Unfortunately his weakness bar is locked here, so we're just going to heal Mem for some more Castris charge as well. Trying to get in as many bugs as possible before I pop the Trivi ultimate. Alright, and here the boss is going to use his ultimate, the Spirit Bomb, the Genki Dama. Does a lot of damage, so it would have been nice if I had Gallagher's ultimate here. We are looking quite low, but even if we do die, luckily Castris has that global passive cheat code, so I'm not too worried, but it would have been smart maybe to actually save Gallagher's ultimate there. Alright, here's the dragon once again. This will push or weakness break the bug. Should do 2 million. We all heal. Look at that. Castris is already at 58% charge. 59, 60, 61, 62. Pretty nice. We're going to heal up Mem even though she's max HP. We want to charge up as fast as possible so we don't use up too much of the remaining action value. Here comes Gallagher's ultimate. And with that, now we have the dragon. And with this amount of HP left, it is a pretty easy kill from here. And boom! For the finish. That is the first half. Pretty solid overall. Alright, on to the second half. We have March's technique, followed by Bronya's technique, Robin's technique, and then we initiate the fight with Fei Xiao's technique. Alright, like I said before, I misplayed this half quite a bit, and I'll point out all my mistakes throughout this half. First up, of course, we're going to buff up, Fei Xiao. And then Robin's going to use her skill. Here we're going to push up Fei Xiao. And you see we're out of skill points, but luckily we have Bronya's ultimate and her light cone ability, so we get a skill point back. If I had, there's a chance, because my Bronya's E2. If I had gotten lucky, so there's a little bit of RNG in this run as well. If I had gotten lucky and the E2 actually procced, and we got the 50-50 skill point back, we would have had 2 skill points here. Do we pop Robin's ultimate to advance everyone forward? And we're going to basic here with March. Here's where I made a huge mistake. I should not have advanced forward Fei Xiao. I should have just basic with Bronya. That would have generated a skill point, because even with the damage buff, without the damage buff, I'm pretty sure with the follow-up attacks from March and everything, we would have been able to kill the ads, and then this would have put us into this is the going solo mode, by the way. So I should not have advanced forward Fei Xiao there, so we would have had an additional skill point, right? And you'll see here shortly that we get very close to weakness breaking Hule during this 1v1. And it actually might have cost me quite a bit of points. As you can see here, we didn't have enough skill points for the, skill. Had I used the basic on Bronya there, we would have had enough skill points to use Fei Xiao's skill during this phase. And you see the weakness bar? There's like a tad bit left. I feel like with the skill and an extra follow-up, Hule would have been weakness broken during that phase. And we would have been able to save a lot of action value. And unfortunately, it's just one of those misplays that you make occasionally. Alright. Now here I'm checking whether to push up Fei Xiao or not. So I made the correct play here. I saw that Bronya is going to take the action right after her action if I just use her basic. So there's no point in using the skill when I can just basic and take another action. Also, I probably should have popped, Fei Xiao's ultimate during that last turn when I had the damage buff from Bronya on Fei Xiao. I don't know why, but I guess my brain was asleep during this time. I decided to save the ultimate all the way until now and then pop it. Then this is obviously an overkill. As you can see, Hulei's at 8% HP. So yeah. Another pretty bad misplay on my part. A lot of wasted damage and just misplays in general. Alright, so for this half, it's very important. Hule does a boatload of damage. You need to get into the solo phase as soon as possible. So it is actually perfectly fine to use your Fei Xiao ultimate here just to kill off an ad. Because you do not want Fei Xiao taking... I mean, not Fei Xiao. Hule taking another turn. As you can see, from that initial attack, both our March and Fei Xiao are already at half HP. If Hule takes another turn, he does an attack. I think it's just like a regular sweep attack. Here I'm checking the bloodlust stacks and everything. He does a regular attack and then an AoE, and that AoE will actually kill off your Fei Xiao and March. If you have cast risk, they'll be dropped to 1 HP. But since you don't have a healer on this team, they're eventually just gonna die anyways. And if you go into solo mode or going solo mode with Fei Xiao at 1 HP, she's going to die immediately because as you can see, Hule takes the first turn. But since we're not less than 25-ish HP, Fei Xiao should be able to survive the going solo mode. But yeah, you want to get into this going solo mode against Hule as fast as possible, so that Hule doesn't take his second turn. Otherwise, like I said, your one run will be bricked because Fei Xiao and March will die. Alright, he's not quite weakness broken yet, but all we need to do is just kill off one of these ads, and he will be weakness broken, and we should be able to finish off the run here. Right, there you go, he's weakness broken. Here it's okay to push up Fei Xiao, even though she's the next one in the action, because we get the damage boost anyways, and we're trying to finish off the the boss as soon as possible. I don't know why I keep saving these Fei Xiao ultimates. I should have popped it once again when I had the Bronya buff. Now I don't have the Bronya buff, but we do have the Bronya. I guess we have the Bronya ultimate buff, but yeah, I really should have just used the Fei Xiao ultimate earlier when I had Bronya's buff. So that's like what, 3 or 4 misplays already, and we still scored around 1500 before the total score. It's not terrible, and that's the run. And the entire run over 7,100. Alrighty, let me go over my characters and their builds real quick, starting off with Gallagher. These are his stats. A lot of energy regeneration, so that he has the highest ultimate uptime. His healing is very important for the caster's team. Lycone has post-op conversation, that is 5. Traces. I recently actually leveled up his Traces. I maxed out his talent, so we can get more of that healing. And I put a few of his points into his skill, which I normally never use when I run him on different teams, but since you want as much healing for Caster's charge on that team, I figured it's time to put some points and actually use the skill. These are his relics, 2-piece speed, the 2-piece break effect, which doesn't really matter. Ideally, be better on probably a 2-piece outgoing healing, or maybe just more speed in general. A 2-piece broken keel set. Eidolons, he's at Eidolon 6. Alright, next is Tribby. These are her stats. I'm still running the hyper fast Tribby. I have not farmed up a gear set or the relic set for the slow Tribby yet. And her Lycone is Dance, Dance, Dance. Finally at S5. These are our traces. Still need a little bit of work, but we're waiting for that double drop event once again. These are our relics. Double speed set, followed by a energy regeneration set. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alright, I'm next. The dog. These are my stats. Light Cone is Victory in a Blink at S5. These are his traces. I actually did put a couple of points. I mean, most people will say that this isn't necessary, but I feel like with the little bit of extra HP and healing for Mem, you do charge up Caster's charge for the dragon a little bit faster. Every little bit counts. The faster you can charge up the dragon, the more damage you'll deal. These are his relics. 2-piece speed on a 2-piece speed. I'm trying to farm this set right here, although it's not really necessary. It's just a little bit of extra chip damage for the Trailblazer himself. So, I mean, I'm farming Caster's relics in that domain as well, or Cavern of Corrosion. So if I can manage to pick up a good 4-piece set of relics for him, then that's an added bonus, I guess. And of course, for the Planar Sphere, he's on Broken Keel. Eidolons, I'm at Eidolon 6. Alright, and then finally, next is our new waifu, Caster's. Sorry, Firefly. Just kidding. Anyways, these are our stats. Really slow. Basically base speed. I love that animation of the dragon. I've actually never noticed that. That is really nice. Lycone is her signature Lycone at S1. Traces. I still need to max out her skill and her, I believe this is her ultimate, yeah. So a little bit more investment, once again waiting for that double drop event. These are her relics. I got her on her main set, the 4-piece Poet set. Some of the pieces here are pretty good. Like this one is basically perfect rolls. This one, unfortunately, it would have been perfect had it dodged out on the effect resist, so I'm looking for a better piece on this piece, which isn't too bad because this is one of the pieces that doesn't have a, it has a set main stat, so it's easier to get. The headpiece here is actually have 2 pieces for the headpiece. This one right here, although it has like effect hit rate, which is kind of worthless, it triple rolled on the HP percent, so that's really solid. And then if I want a little bit more crit rate, this one's also pretty decent. It has 1 roll in the crit rate, 2 rolls in the HP. And the effect resist roll isn't terrible. And all these, this is actually perfect substats in my opinion for casters. This one has the effect hit rate, like I said, but it has more HP for overall damage. Boots are also set as well. So basically her 4-piece set is almost done, other than the gloves right here. Her boots are really nice. Like, Jesus Christ. Freaking 4 rolls in the crit value, and then the last roll went in the defense, which is fine. It's better than, I don't know, break effect's alright as well. Either way, we got 4 rolls in the 2 crit substats. Ideally, I would have preferred more rolls in the crit damage because she already has a lot of crit rate from the 4-piece set itself. But, I mean, I will not complain about 4 rolls in the crit. That is, I mean, there's only one other pair of attack boots that I have that roll better than this, so this is absolutely nutty. Planar Sphere, unfortunately, I don't have pieces for her 2-piece set, so we're just running a broken set right now with this HP Orb, and then her Link Rope is this one, which had potential to roll really well, but unfortunately it rolled kind of alright. I actually don't mind the flat HP sub, it just gives her more overall HP pool, but I would have obviously preferred some of the rolls to go more in the crit subs. So we're going to try to look for a better one. For now, this will have to do, though. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. I did not pull for E2 this time. Alright, on to the second half team. We're going to start off with Robin. I'll go through Robin really quick, as my Robin's build has not changed in probably over a year, which may or may not be a good thing, but I mean, she doesn't need like super insane gear. She probably has the least amount of gear requirements out of the majority of the what do you call it, support or harmony characters. Doesn't need a lot of speed. Doesn't need a lot of what do you call it, any stats other than attack and some energy regeneration. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. All right, on to my Fei Xiao. These are her stats. Running pretty slow Fei Xiao, but she does a lot of damage. You'll see why in a moment. Lycone is cruising in the Stellar Sea at S5. Traces. Alright, here are her relics. Be prepared. This one's okay. It's not terrible. This is pretty good as well. This was probably her worst piece, I think. I mean, it's got 3 good rolls, but yeah, this is probably her worst overall piece. And then you get to the boots, which, if you guys have seen my previous videos, you've probably seen this boot like a million times. This is the best pair of boots in general. I don't care, speed, attack, HP, defense, whatever, that has ever rolled into all 5 rolls in the substats that I want. So I use this boot on her and Imbibitor Lunane quite often. So you'll see these pair of boots very often. And then for the Planar Sphere and Link Rope, they're alright. Ideally, she'd probably be better on the Duran set, but the set works well since she's almost always paired with March 7th, so she'll get the extra crit rate from this. Although she's already technically overstacked on crit rate, so I guess it's not that great. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 0. Alrighty, next is Lady Bronya. These are her stats. Lycone is her signature Lycone at S1. These are her traces. Relics, I got her on a 2-piece speed, or 2 double 2-piece speed sets. You guys know what I mean. And a broken keel set. Eidolon, she's at Eidolon 3. Eventually when I get Eidolon 4, I feel like I could do some weird gimmick with the follow-up attack on Fei Xiao's team. That ought to be interesting, actually. And last, but definitely not least, is March 7th. These are her stats. Lycone is only Silence Remains at S5. These are her traces, basically maxed out, other than skill and ultimate. Relics, I have her on a 4-piece Musketeer set. And a 2-piece Rutilant Arena set. Eidolons, of course, she's at Eidolon 6. Alright, that's going to be it for this Honkai Star Rail video, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.